I'm sure that you have been in a very similar situation to this one. You are planning your next development period and you have to come up with a plan. Which ones are the features that I should be doing or implementing and working with my development team? But your backlog is, let's say, not very organized and you don't even know where to start from. Which ones of those features are actually going to bring more value to your customers? How long is it going to take me to implement them or to my team to implement them? ICE framework is here to help you sort out through those features and try to identify those golden nuggets, opportunities that are going to help you move forward in the vision and the strategy for your product. The ICE score is going to be calculated with three main metrics: I for impact, C for confidence, E for ease. The impact is the impact that you are going to, or that you see that this opportunity could have in your business or in your customers. The confidence is about how confident you are in the estimates that you have given for the other scores. Are you very certain about the scores that you have given, or maybe you're not? And then finally, the ease. How easy is to implement this feature or this opportunity? Take into account that this easiness of implement is not just about implementation, but it's also the easiness of deployment, for example, or how well marketing can actually promote this feature. So it's not just about one aspect of the technical implementation, but you should take into account other things. When it comes to scoring, it's very important that you are setting within the framework what are the ranges, the scales that you are going to use to score these different metrics. Because you have to be consistent when you are scoring, and you have to define very well what are those scales. I propose you here some that you can use based on a scale from 1 to 10, where you can usually start from 1, where it's very low, to 10 being the very high, whether it's the impact, the confidence, the ease of implementation. And finally, the score is obtained by multiplying the three metrics. So what are the benefits for this framework? The first one is that it's very easy to implement. For most of the people, it's going to be relatively easy to give scores to those metrics. Of course, if there's a topic or an area that you are not very familiar, you would need to do research and understanding, for example, the impact or how much or how easy it is to implement might not be a very obvious answer. It's also a very good framework for non-technical teams. So teams like even marketing teams can be using this to actually prioritize their work. And it works well if you want to focus on growth, on impact, and if you are prioritizing different type of features like product features or design features. The cons are going to be that it can be very subjective. Whenever you have to give scores to different metrics, evaluate different aspects, it's very easy that the number I will give is going to be very different from the number that you will give and from the number that somebody else in our team would give. So oftentimes I would recommend you to do this in a team and try to find out what is the most or the common understanding of what the score should be. Because if it's only one person, it's probably going to be very biased. It can also be game. It can be that people are saying that, hey, this is my idea. It's a 10-10-10. So perfect score. So this is something that you had to take into account. And usually this framework doesn't take into account dependencies towards other work that might be blocking our work and might, for example, impact on the ease metric, and is probably not very good for long-term impact. So it might be good for using in short-term planning, but for long-term planning, I don't see that this is the best fit. What are the best use cases for the ICE framework? I think that one of the first ones is that it's very good for things like growth experiments, where you are trying to identify what could be the growth opportunities that you could have. You could use this to help you rate those opportunities and then start doing your experimentation, your testing. It's also good to do quick win identification. Identify what could be the quick wins from a backlog of ideas or features or opportunities that I have. Try to identify which ones are the ones that I should be focusing on. And it might be great as part of ideation workshops. I think that when you are working with your team, with the rest of your product team, it's a good tool to use to try to get a common understanding from the team of where we think the highest potential opportunities could be. And it's a great opportunity to use your team to do this, because you are going to, as a product manager or a product operations person, you're not going to be knowing all the answers. It's great if you are working with your designer, with your tech lead, whoever else that is going to help you understand better the scope and the work that needs to be done in order to address this opportunity. If you do it as a team, the scores probably are going to be a bit more realistic and a bit more accurate. And they don't have to be extremely accurate, but what you need is that common way of thinking of breaking down the estimates for each feature is done by each member of the team, and together you understand from all the different perspectives and angles, you come up with a common scoring, which means that your scoring is going to be very less biased, and probably you're going to be able to identify better which ones are those opportunities. So do you want to put ICE into action? There are some tools that are going to help you doing this. There are different tools like Coda, Notion, Airtable that are going to help you doing this, but it's going to be a do-it-yourself type of thing, because they don't have probably this framework implemented, but you can just customize the tables, you can add the formulas, and then have your ICE score recreated there. Other tools like Product Board, Product Plan, Airfocus, that are much more focused for product management and product operations, they are going to have, in some cases, dedicated ICE score, or sometimes they are going to have the capability of recreating the table, similar to what you had to do with Notion or what you had to do with Coda. And finally, you can implement the ICE framework even in Jira. I believe that there are some plugins that are being sold to do that. Hey, Google Sheets, Excel, it always works. You can still use it. You can just do it very quickly. It's not very complicated math, and it's very easy to set up. So ICE framework is a tactical framework that is going to help you organize your backlog, that is going to help you try to identify those golden opportunities. If you want to know more about how to set up a strategic product operations in your company that is going to really help you identify impact based on the strategies that you have defined and really streamline the whole workflow that you have in your company by setting the product operations for your teams, go check out my website. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.